Okay, so today we got a tier list. This is going to be the top unranked fighters. So these are all fighters that have never been in the rankings. Most of them are pretty new to the UFC. A lot of them are undefeated in the UFC, but that's not necessarily a prerequisite to be on this list, okay? So let's just get started. First, we got Shamil the Blob Gaziev, okay? So this is actually our only heavyweight prospect. I'm not sure where the future of this division is going to come from. But Shamil, he's not very good. He's pretty fat. Not much cardio, but he's a heavyweight, so I think he'll be able to crack the top 15 pretty soon, honestly. There's just not much competition to get there. He could easily beat somebody like a Marcin Tybura, maybe, or just one of those fat heavyweights in the rankings. He can definitely do it. All right, so next we got Ibo Aslan. I think this is our only light heavyweight prospect too, so maybe a dark future for that division too. But he's a lot better. He's fit. He's powerful. He's not the greatest technically anywhere, but he can strike. He can knock some guys out. So I think we're gonna go top 10 as his ceiling, because like at the heavyweight division, it's just not a very deep division. This guy's gonna be able to beat a lot of these guys. So let's give him top 10. Next we got Bo Nickel. Now this guy has a ton of hype. A lot of people see him as a future champion for sure. I'm not so sure about that. His striking looks okay. We've only seen it against cans. His wrestling, obviously, it's going to be good. But we've seen Olympic wrestlers in the UFC, and their wrestling isn't necessarily what gets them to the top. He'll be good. I'll give him top 5 for sure, because middleweight is so bad, but I can definitely see a world where he doesn't become champion. Alright, we got another middleweight, Joe Pyfer. This guy looks a lot like Bo Nickel. Probably a better striker than Bo Nickel. Nowhere near the wrestler, but he's decent enough, and again, it's middleweight. But he just doesn't have that standout ability in the wrestling like Bo Nickel does. I'm going to put him top 10 for sure, but I really don't think he'll make the top 5. Alright, next we got Brian Battle. He's been around a while, but recently started to look really, really good. I think top 15 is definite for him. He still has a long way to go in his career. He's right on the verge of the top 15 already, so I can't see him not making the top 15. I think he's definitely a top 10 guy. I think the top 5 will start to stop him, but there's nothing from stopping him from getting top 10. Alright, next we got Carlos Prates. If he wins this weekend, he'll be in the rankings, so this is the last chance to have him on this type of list. I just can't see future champion with the grappling at welterweight. Shavkat Rakhmonov, maybe even Hamzat Chimaev, Bilal, all these guys are going to stop him in the wrestling, but there's no reason he can't make top 5, especially if the UFC gives him some strikers, kind of protects him, so let's go with that. Alright, we got another fighting nerd here, Mauricio Huffy. We've only seen him once in the UFC, but he looked amazing. He looks amazing outside the UFC too. I think we'll see him again at UFC 309. So that's amazing. Let's give him top 10. Top 10. Maybe he'll look top 5 after 309, but we haven't seen him fight anyone really good yet. But the potential is there. But for now, let's be conservative. Give him top 10. Alright, Mateusz Rebecki. He's been around for a while. He's been winning fights. I know he has that one loss, but other than that, he's looked amazing. Even against Miktabek Oralbai, he was another huge prospect. Rebecki clearly won that fight. I'm not sure about the split decision in that fight. But yeah, he's fun. He's well-rounded. No reason that he can't crack the top 10. Top 5 might be just a little too skilled for him, but, I think he can crack the top 5. He's really good. Alright, our last fighting nerd on this list, we got Gene Silva. Technically just outside the rankings, still probably one fight away, just like Prates. I think Gene Silva's going to have to be our first future champion. He's good. He's really good. Well-rounded. And then he's the first guy in this list that's well-rounded and just has that standout ability in one area, and that's the striking. This guy just messes people up. Like Drew Dober, amazing chin, tough guy. This guy did him so bad. Like Drew Dober will probably never recover from that one. So we're going to go future champion with Gene Silva, probably the best of the fighting nerds. Alright, Next, we got Felipe Lima. We've only seen him once in the UFC. He's really, really young. I believe 22 or 24. Great prospect. Smoking guys, submissions, KOs, dominant decisions, but we just haven't seen enough of him. He's at flyweight, which is, they're all good, but it's not necessarily the deepest division. I'd be surprised if this guy doesn't go at least top 10. In his next couple performances, he might go higher, but for now, let's put him top 10. Very similar to Huffy here. Alright, next, we got Yusuf Zalal. There he is. He did lose to Ilia Topuria a while back, killed a lot of his hype, but since then he left the UFC, got a couple wins out there, and then got a couple more wins in the UFC, and he's looked amazing since then. I don't know if he hopped on steroids or what, but the grappling dominant, the striking dominant, very well-rounded. He is featherweight, which is a great division, but man, I really don't see him getting anywhere less than the top 10, so let's put him there. Alright, next we got Gene Matsumoto. This guy's also really good. Not as much hype, but he is undefeated. I think 2 wins in the UFC and 1 on the Contender Series. Usually these guys, okay, he doesn't look that special anywhere. He's been struggling a bit, but I'll be surprised if he doesn't go top 15. Alright, next we got Ludovic Klein. This guy rarely gets talked about. I think he's really good. Lightweight, great striker, well-rounded. And lightweight isn't what it's used to be. It's not like every single fighter in the top 15 is amazing like people like to say. The top's still really good, but outside of that, there's definitely room for improvement in lightweight. I can definitely see Ludovic Klein going top 15. I don't think he has that special ability to take him any further than that, but that's good. Alright, Marcus McGee, another guy that should get a shot at the rankings next time he goes. The only problem with him is he's getting pretty old. He's 34, I believe, and in the lighter weight classes, he's a bantamweight. 35, 36, you're pretty much done after that, so maybe 1 or 2 more fights in his absolute prime. After that, I can't see him beating top 10, top 5 guys when he's 35, 36, especially in bantamweight. So we're going to go with top 15 for Marcus McGee. If he was younger, if he was like 25, 26, he might be all the way up at the top because he's great, but he's just a little too old, so we're going to go top 15 for Marcus McGee. Alright, next we got Rinya Nakamura, another really, really good wrestler on here. I forget whether he was an amateur champion or an Olympic champion or national champion, but regardless, high level wrestler, young, very young. His striking looks okay. It's improving. Yeah, I don't see any reason he can't go top 10 or above, but for now, let's go with top 10. Alright, Raul Rosas Jr., the youngest fighter in UFC history. Still 19 or 20, I believe. I believe he's 4-1, or 3-1 in the UFC. Taking that 1 loss at 19, it's not so bad, not a big deal at all. He'll learn a lot from that, and he has. The striking still doesn't look great, but the jiu-jitsu is amazing. He is in bantamweight, probably the most competitive division. But this guy's only 19 or 20. He's really good, and he has 10 years or more at the top. So, I can't promise he'll be the champion, but he has 10 years. He's already good in the division. I don't see why not. Alright, next we got this guy, Peyton Talbot. People love this guy. I've never been the biggest on him. I don't know. Maybe we really just need to see more of him. He is fighting soon, so that's good, but his best win is Cameron Simon, knocked him out. Honestly, a really good win. His last win against a can, but knocked him out in 10 seconds. That's the best you can expect against a can. A lot of people are giving him future champion shouts, but I really think we just need to see more of him, especially in bantamweight. Those guys are so good. So I can't put him any higher than top 10 for now, so we'll go with that. Alright, next we got another bantamweight, Vinicius Oliveira. Bantamweight's going to be really good for the next 10 years. It's going to be great. So Vinicius Oliveira, he had that nasty knee KO over Bernardo Sopaj fighting this weekend. And then in his last fight out, he struggled a little bit, but he also put together some nasty combinations, some really, really cool ones if you want to go look at those highlights. Really fun fighter. I think he's missing a little bit of power. Honestly, he kind of reminds me of Shara Magomedov. Great fight, great striking, fast, technical, but just missing a little bit of power. And it's hard to be a great striker when you don't have all of that finishing potential. But he could put it together. He's really good. I'm gonna give him top 10. He's another one of those guys on the verge of top 15. I think eventually he'll run into a wrestler that's he's not going to be able to beat. Alright, here we go. Farid Basharat, the better Basharat, bro. Neither of these guys are anything crazy. Both bantamweights is another bantamweight on the verge of a top 15 fight. These rankings are going to be going in and out pretty soon. Really good wrestler, decently well rounded, okay striking. I think his problem is when he finds a wrestler that can strike, he's going to get beat up pretty bad, but he's well rounded as you have to be at bantamweight. I'm going to give him top 15. I just don't think he beats a top 10 guy, but he's undefeated. He's been doing well, so can't say he won't make the rankings. Alright, next we got Joshua Van, one of my favorite fighters. Man, that fight against Charles Johnson was sad to see, but I'm glad he got that comeback. He's really good. He's just small. He's not physical for the division, which is flyweight. There's nothing he can really do. You could put on some more muscle, some more size, but man, then he's going to lose a lot of his speed, and he is so fast. Great striking, great boxing combinations. Probably the best boxer at flyweight, technically. He's just missing size. He's missing power, but when he fights, he's really good. He's really exciting. I can't say he'll get past the top 15, though, honestly. He's just too small. I wish I could say that, but we're going to have to put him here. And then here, I think, is another future champion tier guy, Kaya Sakura. I know he's not really in the same position as most of these other prospects because he was the champion in another promotion, and he is an older guy, and he is going straight into a title fight, but he is technically unranked. Kaya Sakura, he's good. He's not crazy good, but I think stylistically he has what it takes to beat Pantoja. He has power, he has finishing potential, he has really good takedown defense. I think I'm going to pick him to beat Pantoja, so has to be in the future champion category. And that's it for this one. Thank you for watching.